As spring blooms, gardeners all around us are getting their gloves on and getting busy to get everything done before summer hits. This is my top 5 tips for jobs to get done first in the spring season. Get some beneficial insects in your garden. As spring blooms and the weather warms up, you'll be amazed how quickly those little aphids and scale can populate all over your plants. If you can get your beneficials in early, it will help your integrated pest management scheme no end. You won't have to spray as much and you won't have to control as many insects by hand. Feed, feed and feed again to help your plants push out new growth as the weather warms up. I like to use an organic pellet fertilizer like Dino Fert or Organic Lifter. That'll break down in your soil over a couple of months throughout summer and feed your plants for that time. I also like to give them a quick feed like Thrive General Purpose or Power Feed just to give them a big boost as spring comes along. Plant out your summer crops right after the last frost so they get a good boost through spring and you enjoy fruit all summer long. I like to mix tomatoes, basil and carrots all in the one garden bed. You can plant your tomatoes all the way up to the first seed leaves because the fine hairs below that will become little roots and give the plant an extra boost. It'll also stop them just tipping over and flopping all over the place. Basil, I would advise that you plant them out of punnets that you can buy at your local garden centre. Don't plant them by seed because they take a long time to germinate, and that'll either mean you're behind on your basil growth or they'll just get lost in the garden as other things overtake them. With your carrots, however, make sure that you plant them straight into the garden. If you plant them from punnets, you'll tend to have misshaped carrots that look a bit mutant. Mix them with a little bit of sand and then create a small trough and sprinkle the sand seed mix through them. This will allow even distribution of your seeds and mean you don't have to thin them out quite so much later on. Mulch your garden. As the days get hotter and longer, more water will evaporate from the soil. You want to keep your soil nice and moist and cool. If you're mulching a vegetable bed, use a pea mulch. That way, as it breaks down, it will return nitrogen to the soil. If you're mulching ornamentals or pots, I like to either use cypress mulch or a chunky pine bark. Cypress mulch will discourage ants setting up home in your pots, and chunky pine bark doesn't break down for 4 to 6 months, so that saves you having to remulch for the whole season. This season is also the best time for you to aerate your soil. Aerating your soil will encourage root growth. More roots equals more plant and more crop. Also, if any of your plants have become pot bound, this is the best time for you to repot them. Pull them out, give the roots a prune or put them into a bigger pot, and that'll encourage your plants to recover quickly and go nuts in this great growing season.